What's good? We're here, Agent Talk Podcast. This is Joshua Grady here. Today is Monday. I do not know the date, June something, but I wanted to touch on the state of Florida recently approving or passing a bill that will now allow collegiate athletes within the state of Florida to essentially get paid for promotion. Okay, this is something that has been a topic of discussion for years now, even since I've been in school, if not before that. I think it has been very clear that college athletes should be allowed to get paid for their name, image, and likeness, should be able to do endorsements. There's been a lot of resistance on the behalf of the NCAA. Why? Because the NCAA wants to control everything. The NCAA truly does not care all that much about their student athletes, but that is a topic for another day. So, state of Florida recently passed a bill, believe beginning July 1st of 2021. So roughly a year from now, student athletes within the state will now be allowed to make money off of who they are, essentially. Why is this huge? One, this is huge. This is huge. If you look at on behalf of the schools, right? You got a school like a Florida, Miami, Florida State, even the quote unquote smaller schools, USF, Central Florida. If you are a high school student athlete, you have to give this into consideration when deciding where I want to go to school. A lot of people kind of have this idea, well, only the top performing athletes at these schools will really benefit from this, but that is not the case at all. What this now allows is even like me, I was the average individual, didn't really play a lot in college. However, if you go back, if you Google Joshua Grady Anchor Down. So Anchor Down is essentially the motto, okay, the roll call, the thing at Vanderbilt. Before I was at Vandy, and there's really nobody that can dispute this because it is the truth. Before I was at Vandy, nobody was using the term anchor down, okay? I had tweeted out, I think this was my sophomore year, I think in the summer I had tweeted out, hey, does Vanderbilt have any sort of like phrase, how Alabama has roll tide or whatever, these other schools. And a random fan was a random fan, his Twitter AVI was still the egg. So he didn't even have a profile picture. And he responded and said, some people will use the term anchor down, but it's not really popular. And I ran with this, took it to Coach Franklin, brought it to him. And now, you fast forward however many years, anchor down is literally in the stadium, on the practice fields, it's on shirts, it's everywhere. It's become the thing at Vandy, and I should be getting some royalties off of that promotion. But because of how the bylaws were at that time and still are in the state of Tennessee, no bread has been going in my pocket while Vandy has been cashing in. And honestly, something that I brought to the table. That's just the truth. You can Google it. But that's neither here nor there. So what this means is even the average individual, if you can come up with ideas, if you can start a clothing brand, whatever, like literally anything that you want to do, even like Destroying, who is this, kicker for UCF, he was making money off of YouTube, and they basically said you either shut down your YouTube channel or you can no longer play. And he continued to, do his thing on YouTube. He's made a name for himself, but he was no longer allowed to play at UCF. If he was in the year, 2021, 2022, he would be able to do both. So it's enormous. For me, if I'm a student athlete, you got to give heavy consideration to these Florida schools that now you're able to make some money off of who you are. As an agent, this is agent talk. This is big time for me. This is something like I've been, waiting and hoping for this. The opportunity to now not only market my guys or market my signed clients that are professionals, but to be able to now dive into the college realm and market some of these individuals. Even it doesn't have to be anything over the top. And again, that's something that I want to make sure is clear. It doesn't have to be somewhere guys are okay, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, they're going to be making $50,000, $100,000, going to be driving in these Lamborghinis, Range Rovers, this and that. And that's completely overblowing it. That's the mindset that a lot of people that are not in favor of these college athletes getting paid, that's the mindset that they will have. This money will go to their heads. They'll be doing dumb stuff with the money, whatever it could be. 99% of the individuals that are going to be within these states that are going to pass along these laws that allow these college athletes to get paid, most of them really aren't going to see that much difference. However, if you're a college student, and I can speak to this because I was, an extra $1,000 a year, an extra 5,000, whatever it might be, like, that's huge. Like, that's the difference between going to Rand, which food really wasn't the best, between being able to go to maybe, taking a little date out to Outback, whatever it could be. So, for these college athletes now, for me, what that allows me to do is brand them. So, those that know me, I'm big on the social media. So it allows me to actually, communicate with them and work with them in this manner as a marketing rep and as a brand builder, able to do some social media stuff, able to create content even over the summertime as their season goes along. We're able to make some content to help promote, a website, introducing them to some of these brands, even if it's not even putting money in their pocket. But so now by the time someone enters the NFL and they're actually, created a name for themselves, you've been able to have, 3 to 4 years of building your network, getting introduced to some of these CEOs and these presidents behind some of these companies. And there's just so much more that you can do. Now for the higher end athletes like a Trevor Lawrence, per se, if he was in one of these states that eventually will pass this, and we'll talk about that later, you could be making, certain thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. But again, even just for the average student athlete, like I said, this is huge. What I think will happen is we will see other states kind of follow the mold. Right now, it's just the state of Florida that is enabling this. I know California, this has been a touching point for them. Eventually, every state, in my belief, is going to have to catch up and allow this to transpire. And it's really just going to change the landscape. For a lot of these guys that go to college, like most are not going to the NFL. Most are not going to the NBA. Most are not going to go to the big leagues. And just to be able to put some extra money in your pocket, to me, it's a game changer. Again, for what I'm trying to do as an agent, as a marketing rep, I'm so excited. I'm hyped for this. For some of my young boys that even play, for Team Tampa, a lot of them go to these Florida schools. And now that just opens up the pipeline to where maybe I'm not signing such and such of these guys to be, per se, a contract advisor client. However, now being able to have access, again, just to build up their social media, to promote their name, introduce them to some of these companies, to start a clothing line, get on a podcast, whatever it could be, the opportunities are endless. And something like I tell my students that are currently in the Agent Academy, there really is no better time for someone that is young, someone that is relatable, to become an agent, to become a marketing rep, to work in the sports world. Because you're going to have some of these 18, 19, 20-year-olds that are still in college. And to me, there's going to be a big difference when I step into their home to try to, work with them versus someone that is 50, 60. Because truth be told, a lot of these kids are going to be like, well, I don't really know what you're saying, but I see you, Joshua, and I understand exactly what you're talking about. And I just think it's going to bring some more value to the table for me. So like I said, I'm excited. That's really all I got. We'll see what all happens. We'll see what states follow. But again, come July 1st, 2021, we're on full go. And the last thing I got is, if you're not following, check us out on IG at Grady Media. Started my own marketing and media company. Really I cannot express enough how excited I am for this. Again, we'll see, what all happens, how it transpires, different logistics behind things. But, I'm hopeful for this for sure. And I think it's really going to benefit what I'm trying to do. It's obviously going to work in favor for a lot of these student athletes. So we'll see what happens. Aside from that, this is Joshua Grady here. If you're not following us on IG, this is at Agent Talk Podcast. We're on YouTube as well. My IG is at Agent Grady _. I'm on there on Twitter. If anybody, as always, has any questions, want to connect, whatever it could be, holla at me. Aside from that, I'm out.